Recording in progress.
All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the first trading day of August. All right, good morning. Let's get started. Okay, so let's take a look at the events and news for today and the month, and also go over the tickers on watch for the day. Okay, so first of all, before talking about the equities market, oil price dropped 6%, and because of President Trump calling off planned strikes, and as a result, oil price dropped. And if we, yeah, you can see the oil price went from 85 $86 down to 70 78 75. And well, there are some talks between US and Iran, and as a result we are having lower geopolitical risk, lower price of oil. Basically it's a positive news for the market. The risk of inflation is reduced, and as a result we are seeing S&P 500 is slightly pushing higher in the pre-market after Friday's price action, where we retested 737, 740, bounced back up. Now we're gapping up and continuing moving higher with the whole basically tension news updates. We'll see what happens, but so far this is the news, and we can see the market is bouncing above this level. Now if you take a look at the Nasdaq, you can see the Qs is still holding in the same range it was trading on Friday. It's holding in between 685 and 700-ish zone, and it's technically basically stuck in a range. It didn't gap up. Now what is pushing the S&P 500 higher? If you take a look, let's say at Dow Jones, you can see Dow Jones is gapping up and moving all the way higher from 525. Now it's trading around 531, a massive gap up, pushing the whole market higher with it. Okay, we have huge earnings this week. We have a lot of economic events as well. So let's take a look at the events and the earnings first. So first of all, we have Palantir today after the market close. On Tuesday, we have Pfizer, CAT, MCD, McDonald's, SpaceX, AMD would be the biggest name for this week. On Wednesday, we have LLY, Shopify, Uber, DIS, Disney, SNDK, WDC. And on Thursday, we have DKNG, Airbnb, and DDOG could be interesting to watch as well. On Friday, OKLO could be interesting to watch. So we have a whole week packed with earnings. Okay, and when you go check out the economic events, you can see that today at 10 a.m. we have ISM manufacturing and construction spending. On Tuesday we have JOLTS at 10 a.m. On Wednesday we have Treasury refunding announcement at 8:30. ISM service at 10. On Thursday we have jobless claim, and on Friday we have employment situation. So the week is also packed. The whole on the economic calendar side also we are packed with a lot of events. So it's not as heavy as last week, or especially in the earnings side, we don't have like the biggest names would be Palantir, AMD for trading perspective and volatility perspective, and also volume. But also we have some other names like Pfizer, Caterpillar, McDonald's, SpaceX, Shopify. There are a lot of earning plays for this week that can basically show us the direction of the overall market for the next couple of days and weeks. Okay, so in addition to that, the overall market is covered. Now, there are some other news. Alibaba introduced new Qwen 3.8 AI model. So if we take a look at Alibaba's price action, we see Alibaba gapped up and BABA, and it's pushing higher right below this 128 zone. It is relatively weak compared to like 2019, 2020, obviously, but this is a strong move higher. Now the main resistance zone on BABA would be around 142, 143. If we break out of that zones with some AI news, if that happens by that time, I think BABA would be a very interesting name to watch. It is an interesting setup to watch for today as well if we break out of this 128, 129 zone. So that was the name I wanted to cover, which is moving because of a catalyst and a news, which is related to AI, no surprise. And with that being said, let's take a look at the overall market. Let's take a look at the levels, the overall market, and then go over several tickers on watch for this week. So S&P 500. What happened last week? Very interesting price action. On Friday, we technically retested 737. That is going to be a green demand zone. We bounced above it, clearly held above this whole zone of 740.45, and then in the pre-market retested the zone. Now we gapped up and pushed all the way higher, broke out of 749, 750 level, clearly holding right above 749, 750 zone. Now the main level on watch will obviously be the pre-market level of 750 1.5 on SPY. If this level breaks, we can go for a retest of 752 and then 754 on SPY. Now, I would like to see SPY holding 749, 750 zone. Okay, if for any reason SPY retests and break this zone and push lower, this would be basically a failed break, and we're gonna possibly see a gap fill scenario. So the key level on watch would be the 749, 750 zone on SPY to hold. Probably we might see a retest. Now during that retest, I wanna see if SPY can hold this level or not. If we continue moving higher, break out of this 751.5 and push higher, well, that's also another scenario. As I said, 752 and 754 would be the next key resistance zones on SPY. Qs, as I already explained, we are still holding. Qs did not gap up. It did not push higher. It did not break out of the even moving averages. It's still holding below 21 EMA, and it is still in between 9 and 21 EMA cloud here, holding right in between. Now we are seeing the rejection on Qs, and technically showcasing the tech sector is still lagging compared to the overall market. Now the key zones on watch would obviously be 695 all the way up to 700 ish on QQQ. Now if we keep holding this zone and rejecting this zone, we might possibly see a reversal setup on Qs. Now, if we break down below 685, and if that wants to happen, probably we might see a fake out on SPY and gap fill scenario on SPY. If that happens, Qs has potential to break down below 684.85, push back down to 677, 78, and then the next main demand zone would be 665, 666 zone on QQQ. Now, if you want to see a bullish scenario on Qs, we definitely need to break through 696 and 700 zone and push all the way higher. That is the prerequisite for any sort of bullish scenario or trade idea on Qs, because we are clearly rejecting this resistance zone, and Qs was not able to break out of this 695 700 resistance zone yet. Dow Jones has a totally different scenario, very strong, super bullish, and after the basically news related to oil, obviously the industrial sector is reacting and moving all the way higher, retesting almost the all-time high of 532.5. Now this is a massive gap up. If you want to trade Dow Jones, I would like to see Dow Jones possibly at least retesting 529, 530, or ideally 528. Hold the level, bounce back up. That would be an ideal bullish scenario on Dow Jones. Now the 528 would be a very important level on Dow Jones, and if this level holds, we might possibly see possible continuation and all-time high break on Dow Jones if the news and like the everything related to the Middle East remain the same, obviously. SMH, like the Nasdaq, as you see, it's weak. A lot of industrial names are gapping higher and pushing higher because of the oil news. Now you see SMH and semiconductors are weak. On Friday, rejected the 558 zone, pushed lower. Now we are seeing a slight gap down on SMH here as well. Okay, so this is the zone that SMH is holding so far, even in the pre-market, 528. Now, if this 528 holds and we bounce back up higher, we could go for a reversal and a retest of 554, which is going to be our main resistance on SMH. The next resistance zone would be around 567.8 and then 585 on SMH. But if this level breaks down, then we could see another sell-off opportunity on SMH, retesting 518, 510, and 500 zone as the next demand levels on semiconductor ETF. Okay. Yep. With that being said, if you want to check out the USO also, you can see that we are gapping down and getting down from 129 to 120-ish. Because of the oil price. Now let's take a look at a couple of individual tickers. Apple had earning, gap down. Now what happened on Friday? We bounced above this 300 level, but we were not able to break out of 312, 315 zone yet. Now what is happening in the pre-market? We are seeing a rejection of 312. Now if we see this rejection and this rejection continues, we might see a possible breakdown, retest, and continuation on Apple. The continuation would be the sell-off continuation, obviously, on Apple. We'll see how this level of 312, 315 works. That is the key zone on watch for Apple. And if it doesn't hold, and Apple break out of this zone, obviously that would lead Apple to, we will have to wait for Apple to hold this zone. A retest happens, probably seeing buyers are controlling the level. If that happens, we have potential to move all the way higher to 330 and even all-time high on AAPL. So the key zone on watch would be 312, 315 on Apple for the day. Okay, Tesla still consolidating the same exact range. So the main areas I would like to watch Tesla at would be 325 all the way to 335 resistance zone, and also 297, 298 on Tesla. In the middle, I do not think we can get a lot of great A plus opportunities on Tesla. NVIDIA bounced above 200 SMA, retested moving averages on Friday and held right below them. So NVIDIA, as long as it's holding 197, which is going to be the main demand zone for now on NVIDIA, if it keeps holding, then we might see a possible bounce above this level, and the key resistance would be around 200 to 203 resistance zone. We break that, we could go all the way up to 207 and then retest the same resistance zone we couldn't break for so long, for months now. So 197 and 200 to 203 would be key levels on NVIDIA. Google has a totally different scenario. Google had finally broke out of this zone after a couple of days of very almost choppy price action in the intraday. We finally broke out of 350 zone, and now you're seeing that when I said I want to see Google out of this zone, what was the reason, right? You're clearly seeing that we had a massive push, and then now we're gapping up. So the whole sentiment changed on Google for now, right? So we had this massive breakdown. Finally, the price held above this 346 zone. And let's change the color of this one. Yeah. And now we're holding right above these areas. Now the key demand zone I would watch on Google would be 358 right here, where it is trading right now, where it is basically bouncing in the pre-market. Now the keys resistance zone 365, and if we retest 357, that would be the ideal scenario in my opinion. It would be a retest to 50 SMA hold and continuation, possibly all the way higher to 372. If that level breaks, we're gonna possibly see Amazon retesting 390 and maybe all-time high. Okay, so sorry, not Amazon, Google above these areas. AMD has earning in like a few hours, so tomorrow. So yeah, the best bets on AMD is waiting for earning to announce and then play it, possibly above 500, maybe 1311, ideally 550, 60. I'm not sure if that will happen, or below this 430-ish would be interesting to watch on AMD. Intel, like SMH, it is rejecting and pushing lower. Now we are holding right below 90 zone as well. So I would like to see how Intel holds below this 90 zone. If it keeps rejecting and break down below pre-market level, we could see another sell-off opportunity on Intel and probably on SMH as well, and pushing the price. We can see Intel probably retesting 83 or 80 level. Meta, after this massive gap down after the earning, we saw Meta is holding 520 zone, this demand zone, pushed higher on Friday. It continued the move, and now we're seeing a gap up on Meta, and price is holding right below 570. Now if this level of 570 breaks, we have a gap to fill all the way up to 585-ish area, right? This is going to be the major gap. that we have on Meta. That would be the first level on watch, obviously the pre-market high, for a possible continuation on this move, on this gap fill reversal move on Meta. Now, if we do not hold that level, 558 would be 558, 559 would be the first key demand zone on Meta. If that level doesn't hold, we could possibly see Meta reversing and pushing lower again. So yeah, take a look at these two key zones on Meta. MU, very similar price action to Intel on SMH. If you see here, we retested these zones on Friday, rejected. Now we're gapping down, and obviously 820-ish zone would be key resistance levels on watch. The whole 770, 780 would be the key demand zone on MU, and if this breaks, we could see MU down till 740 or even 710-ish area. But if we break out of 820, possibly we might see MU pushing higher, retesting this 900, 920 again. Microsoft, massive rally after the earning, continued the move on Friday. Didn't have the a previous price action. It broke out of this level, totally failed, and then recovered again. But anyway, it finally broke out of this zone, and now we're seeing it's holding above 468, 470. That is a massive level on Microsoft, which it just broke out, and it is holding right above it. So Microsoft definitely on watch. 468, 470 definitely on watch as key demand zone. Let's see if it can hold this level. Pre-market high on watch for a possible breakout and continuation on this bullish move on Microsoft. And Amazon is also super strong after the earning. We saw a gap up. We caught it on Friday, a piece of the move, but it finally kept moving higher. Didn't have the cleanest price action overall, but we are now holding right around this 278. So what is this 278? It's at all-time high. So we are seeing Amazon trying to retest all-time high, and if I just move it a little bit higher, you can see that we are right below all-time high, and we are rejecting this all-time high. Definitely 278, 278.7, 207, almost 279. Excuse me. On watch on Amazon for a possible breakout and all-time high play. Now the key zone on watch would be 273-ish area to hold. PLTR has earning today after the market close, so let's wait for PLTR's earning announcement and then go for it. Okay, awesome. So what do you guys have on watch for the day? Let me know. So we're going to go ahead and trade live with the team. If you want to join us, make sure you check out the link in the description and join us and trade live with me every single day. Take care. See you guys in the next one.